Hi, pretty little lifters. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I'm joined by LA based educator and content creator, Sunshine. The first time Sunshine came onto my radar was actually while I was on TikTok, randomly scrolling, and she popped up and was doing a teacher fit check. And she was dominating this one trending song. And she created this whole fit check routine, and the editing of the video was so good. I was like, who is this diva? I was obsessed with their unique style and confidence. I was sat. I started binging all of her fit checks. And what I started to notice is as I got to see more of her content, I quickly realized that there was so much more to her than just fashion. She also uses her platform to discuss representation and disability awareness as a person with one eye, as well as safety in our school for our students and teachers, which really connected with me as an educator. I'm so excited for you to meet her. Now let's welcome Sunshine to the podcast. All right, welcome to the podcast, Sunshine.
Hi, happy to be here.
So happy to have you here. And I would love it if you could give us a brief little intro of who you are and what you are currently up to personally or professionally, whatever you would like to share.
Perfect. Well, my name is Miss Sunshine. I'm a special education teacher and also a content creator. So my little successful side hustle is making videos related to fashion, disability pride, and obviously the classroom. Fun stories, tips, tricks, all of the above. And something super exciting, I'll be going to New York Fashion Week in a couple days. So I am thrilled. I know, I'm pumped.
Oh my
Not to model or
gosh.
anything, nothing crazy like that. But going to cover some stuff for content creation and highlighting some brands. So
Oh my
super thrilled about
gosh. I'm so this was like, this is perfect for you. Like, this is very aligned with you and your brand. So I'm like, yes, of course, this fashionista would be at New York Fashion Week. That is so exciting.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I'm so
Um,
pumped.
yeah, this is so awesome. So when you hear this episode back, you'll be able to listen to the podcast intro. But I shared that I found you initially through TikTok and you were doing these stylized teacher fit checks. And I was sat and I went down a rabbit hole of going through all
Yes.
your fit checks because I was like, who is she? And I was obsessed with you and the way you edited your videos, your unique style. And it was just so much fun to watch your videos. And as I got to see more of your content, I saw that not only did you love fashion and share that, but as you mentioned, you also use your platform to discuss representation and disability awareness and pride, as well as safety for our students in schools.
Yes.
And of course, this all connected with me as an educator who is also on social media. But I would love to know what inspired you to show up on social media and become a content creator, especially as a teacher, because I think sometimes as teachers, we're like, do we do this? Do we not? Do we put ourselves out there? And did you find any challenges starting to share the career part of yourself online? Because we know that fashion part exists, but like, how did you kind of merge everything?
Yeah, so I initially started posting on the tail end of the pandemic. I finally decided, all right, I'll download TikTok. So I started by posting a couple videos, very kind of sporadic. And one of the first ones that went pretty viral was about my prosthetic left eye, and specifically students trying to get my attention, but on my blind side, and me being like, I'm blind. So that's kind of what kickstarted it. I was like, oh, cool, people vibe with this, it's fun. And I got a lot of comments from people being like, I have one eye too, I'm scared to talk about it, and I think it's cool that you are joking about yours. And that really resonated with me because I was not always okay joking about my eye growing up. There was a lot of internalized ableism happening, as one typically has when you grow up with a very visible disability. And I didn't always wear fun prosthetics. I tried to hide it for the majority of my life and be normal, but being normal is so overrated. So from there, I just started posting pretty regularly, posting more about my eye, sharing, answering questions, doing trends, but making it either teacher or prosthetic eye related. And think like 3 years ago, I really committed to posting every single day, multiple times a day. And it was just like a lot of upward trajectory from there. And I love fashion. My mom was a model, and so she always had the wildest outfits that she'd pick me up from school in. I know, the lore drop. I don't
Yes,
talk
I was like, wait a minute. Like, okay, we see the connection. Okay.
Yes. Yes. I know you wouldn't know. I'm very short. My mom is not. We are not built the same. She's going on 5'9". I'm struggling to get to 5'4". It was not in my cards, not like that. But yeah, she was always a big inspiration, and she always praised and uplifted me in regards to my disability, ensured I had an IEP when I needed one, a 504 plan before leaving high school. And that was also why I went into being a special education teacher, because I wanted to pour back into my own community, the disabled community. And it just all fit very well on real life and social media. I've just kind of merged the two in a way that highlights what I love, which is some teaching stuff, some fashion stuff, disability pride, all while also maintaining a level of privacy. People don't typically know a lot about my life because I am a private person. And it also maintains the safety of my students and myself. So that's where I found the professional balance. I never, and I do kind of judge teachers that do, I never post my students. I will never post my students. I will never like pursue clout and internet infamy on the back of minors. That's just not what I subscribe to.
Yeah.
So I that's where one piece of balance came in. And also I just read my contract. Like I know as far as what I'm allowed to post, what I'm not allowed to post, and then the bounds in which I need to maintain. So that's pretty much how I always kept things solid, as I've never even entered near the territory to breach contract in any way with social
Yeah.
media and career.
And I think you do such a good job of it because it's like you can tell, and like your content isn't all about like being a teacher. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
that's a piece of you. And I think that's what makes it really cool also is that like there is a like, hey, I'm a normal person who goes to work and this just happens to be what I do. And I like this and I like this and I like this and I speak
Mhm.
about this. And I think that's what makes it um good, you know, as well. Because I mean, I started this platform back in 2014. So this was before I was a PE teacher, you know, so I was already posting different content. So it's like I never posted really about my students that much, you know, unless it was like a PE or health related project that I created that I like wanted people to say, like, look at this project we
Yeah.
did, you know? So yeah, it's been a very interesting, like, it was an easy switch because it wasn't like my whole personality was my job per se. Like that's
Yeah.
not what my platform is built on. Like if I quit teaching tomorrow, I would still have a platform. Like it would still
Mhm.
exist, you know? And I think that's been something that's been very important to me is to like have that because it's also a little separate from work too for me.
Yeah, and it keeps things interesting during summer, winter breaks. If all
Yeah.
you do exclusive, I mean, obviously, I post way more about teacher stuff when I'm teaching,
Yeah.
but yeah, if it's everything, it can get repetitive. It's hard to, you know, stay interesting if you always do the same thing. Although I
Yeah.
do always do my fit checks, but I use different sounds and stuff. So like, it doesn't get boring. It's fun. It's a different outfit, a different sound.
Yes. No, I absolutely love it. So you are one of the first people that I've ever seen with like a fashionable, unique prosthetic. And that was something that you
Mhm.
talked about. And I think they are so cool and beautiful. And I think it's so awesome that you've also collaborated with other creators who also have prosthetic eyes and also with brands who believe in representation. And I love seeing brands like authentically do that. So how has embracing being like as you say in your bio the one-eyed teacher who loves fashion,
Mhm.
how does that allow you to show up like as you and inspire other people, and what challenges if any have you faced putting
Yeah.
yourself in the public arena sharing your story as much as you like to share?
Well, there's like obviously good and bad with anything you post about. People are going to judge and say nasty things, and the biggest kind of negative assumption I get is that wearing a fun prosthetic eye would be distracting to my students in the classroom. Which to that I say, literally a fly is distracting two high schoolers in a classroom. A piece of dust sitting the wrong way on
Right?
their desk distracts them. Like, let's be so real. A car honking outside distracts them. Luckily, it's my job to redirect. And
Yeah.
sure, it's interesting. It's weird. It's cool. People notice it, but it's like when you dye your hair a bright color. Sure, you might be known as like the green haired teacher, but after they've seen your green hair a couple times, they're over it.
They're over
They're
it.
they're over it. Kids don't care about things like that. Like,
Yes.
I wore these. I always wear crazy shoes. Hang on, these were the shoes that I wore to work today.
Let's see
Okay,
them.
these were the shoes I wore to work.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay?
Yes, boots.
Like, knee boots, maxi skirt, very cute, very 'tis the season for spooky time. But I was not trying to be wearing them all day. We had a PD today. The seniors were coming on campus to do their senior portraits. I switched into my capybara, my little capybara pantuflas, my sandals. The kids, that was the most hyped I've ever seen them about a fashion thing I've ever worn. And it was my house slippers. Like, they don't care. It gets normal. The way I dress is normal to them. My eye is normal to them. So when I do something different, like if I wore a normal eye, they'd be like,
Yeah, like what?
what's wrong with you? And I'd be like, stop, you guys. What do you mean? So yeah, it becomes normal. And the comments that say stuff like that are either rage baiting or truly have never been around a child long enough to understand that anything they are around for more than 3 days is automatically not interesting anymore.
Correct.
It's just not. So half the time they don't notice when I have in a different one to match my outfit. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No.
So that's kind of good and bad in that regard. And as far as working with brands, it's been an interesting path. I do have representation. I have a manager. Shout out Amy. She's the best. And a number of brands love that I have a prosthetic that I unapologetically rock. I've gotten some really great brand deals where they want me to create outfits to showcase whatever they have, like sunglasses, and then they want specifically for the prosthetic to be brought into it because they think it's so cool. Yeah. And then I'm able to not only style, which I love fashion, but also bring my eye into it. And it just feels really good working with brands like that. And it's not always something that's factored in. I think it's a very new thing to have a customizable body part. And I don't know how many brands are like, am I allowed to ask for her to do that? Or is that weird? Yeah. It's new. And if Amy pitches it or I pitch it as such, I think they'll be like, yes. But brands will rarely ask for eye stuff. But I am trying to get more into makeup, where I do think that matching prosthetic eye to makeup looks could be very cool. And that's time consuming. I'm a teacher. I got to edit all that.
Yeah.
And I'm having to like get up extra early to try to do a makeup look before work. It's maybe. It's a dream. It's a dream.
I love it though, but because I've also seen, some of the comments that you get, and some people just feel so happy to feel seen,
Mm-hmm.
and this is why this as an educator, we talk about representation in so many forms is so important, because like when somebody feels seen and like think like I can be a content creator too, I can be an educator, I could be into fashion, and like just see so many different pieces that like somebody like them exists, like it's so special, it's so important.
100%. And I've had plenty of fellow teachers or soon to be teachers be like, I'm taking note, I'm saving your videos, I want to dress fun like this in the classroom, because I also dress in a way that is still very tasteful, still very appropriate, expressive, all of the above. And I've had people with one eye totally latch on to me owning what makes me unique, and it helps them feel empowered to do the same. I've had parents reach out and be like, my child wants a matching fun prosthetic eye. Am I allowed to do that? And I was like, yes, I would love, it's so cool. And, being tagged in videos by families whose their child is taking out their prosthetic for the first time only because they feel comfortable after seeing other one-eye creators. And I lost my eye at 5. I wasn't born this way. I had to go through a lot of different turmoil related to eye loss. And I didn't take my eyeball out openly till I was like in high school. It was many years. So knowing that I'm making an impact definitely has hit me home more than I thought it ever could. Like I thought I was good, trauma processed maybe. Not hearing about little kids. Like powerful.
And like 5-year-old you, like, can you imagine if you had somebody like you to look up to? Like,
it's game changing.
Game changer.
Not in the sense of like representation in media, but surprisingly, my first grade teacher had a prosthetic eye, and I got my first prosthetic eye in the first grade. I know, it's crazy. Like, God works in wild ways.
Wow.
And she had a prosthetic eye, and I got it like a couple months into being her student. And I just remember her picking me up, spinning me around. I didn't know she had a prosthetic until she and my mom told me, but I remember thinking she was such a pretty woman. Like, when
Uh-huh.
I first had her as my teacher, you know, when you have a teacher and they're
Yeah.
pretty and you're just like, wow. You know, I was a little 7-year-old, just like, wow, she's so pretty. And when I found out she had a prosthetic, I was just like, I'm not a freak, because she's not a freak.
Yeah.
And kids can be cruel and say awful
Yeah.
things. And even having her in my life for that brief moment, it changed everything. And honestly, it's probably why I became a special education teacher. Like, Miss
Yeah.
Richmond impacted my life so heavily in ways that I don't even think I fully understood as a child.
Yeah.
So it's very important. Very
Wow,
important.
what a cool story. I love that. I love that. So I mentioned you're also, very open to using your platform to speak out for your students, which is something I also believe in and do actively, in terms of like their rights and their safeties. And it's kind of a wild time right now. It has been a wild 2025 for teachers. And as someone who is also an educator and feels passionately about similar topics, why is it important for you to speak up for your students using your platform? You do have a lot of followers, and even if you get some backlash, because I know that you do sometimes, especially from people who like don't understand or have a difference of opinion, like, and not all educators like to touch these topics, so like what helps you feel empowered to do this?
I mean, simply put, it's the right thing to do. If you especially have a big platform and you're not utilizing it in some way to advocate for other people, I want my students, and of course, I don't know which of my students follow me, obviously, but I know they do, because they're like, Miss, I saw that you were blah, blah. And I'm just like, okay, they know the rules. They know they can't comment or anything because I'll block them for their own safety, because online creeps, all of that.
Yep.
But like, they do see what I'm doing online. They see what I post. They see what to me is important. And if I am not talking about these issues that are so important, like genocide being funded by our government, like children dying in schools, like kids not being safe from being abducted in front of schools by ICE, like it's, if I am not using my platform to discuss it, even if there's not much else I can do besides that, like, I'm going to model what good and moral behavior is like. And that looks like standing up for what's, in my opinion, right, in the face of backlash, in the face of very angry Facebook comments sometimes, and people that don't get it, because that's where I stand morally. I think that there are certain rights, and it's interesting. I teach juniors who study the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights, and they're just like, Miss, what do you like this and then this and this? And I'm just like, crazy. They were like, Miss, I thought we were allowed to protest because of the First Amendment. I'm like,
right.
Miss, what happened to having a warrant, search and see? I'm just like, yeah, there's a reason why people win lawsuits, and that there will likely be class action lawsuits happening in the future, but that's for another time. Because again, slight derailing, then I'm like, now back on. Back onto the assignment. But yeah, it's just what I think is right, and also what I do outside of the classroom is my business, but I also work with a lot of similar-minded people, and the school I'm at has made it very clear that student safety is our priority, and that no one will ever enter the school that is meant to do harm, and we have protocols in line should anyone try to jeopardize student safety. So I take it very seriously, and in person and online. So it's
100%. Right. Yeah, I feel very similarly to you. And it's one of those things where like, I don't have children of my own. So like my students are my babies, and like I would get full mama bear to protect these kids. So, when I do see people making comments or talking about things that they're like, you're not in the arena, like you don't even know what's happening, and I'm just like, you need to calm down because you're not here. Like you're not in the space. You're not being inclusive, like whatever it is. So I always appreciate teachers who are open to that, because I remember when I was in, my teacher program, one of the things they would say is like, don't talk about politics. Teaching is not political. And I understand, like in the classroom, like I'm very like factual in the classroom, but like you were saying, like, cool, this is my private space now. Like, and yes, we are public in terms of social media, but
Yeah.
I'm also very aware of like, I know the things that I'm saying like won't harm our students. And if anything, they feel seen, because like you, I know some of them follow me and like,
Yeah.
they won't comment and stuff, but like, I want them to know I have their back. I want them to feel safe around me, and I want them to know that people care. There are adults who are level-headed and care and have their best interest at heart. And I think that's so important. Yeah.
And to say nothing and to do nothing is to be compliant with what's happening,
Mm-hmm.
which is a statement in and of itself. So whether or not you talk about it, it's saying something about you.
100%. Yes, I totally agree. To change up the topic a little bit, I saw a recent post of yours where I thought this was a very interesting topic. So you were wearing a very cute dress with like poofy sleeves and a square cut neckline, and you looked fabulous. You looked so great, but you brought up a really good question that I've actually wondered myself over the years of teaching. So you asked, if I was more curvy or voluptuous person, like in the chest area, would this outfit still be cute, or would people think it was too sexy? And I think the question really highlights the need to consider body diversity as teachers, and how not all teachers are trying to sexualize their outfits. They're just existing in their bodies. So can you share what kind of comments you got in response to this post, and maybe some thoughts that you have on this since sharing that topic?
Yeah, surprisingly and luckily, I do love when the girls are engaging. So there was a lot of women that were responding, a lot of women who are more endowed that gave their opinion, and they were like, yeah, it would be seen as much more inappropriate on me, even if no cleavage was shown. The fact that it's tighter on the chest and I have triple D's, like it will be seen as more inappropriate, and it's unfortunate and it's hypocritical. But in the United States, we sexualize bodies, we sexualize women, and because of that, certain things that teachers wear will be seen through a more critical lens if they are curvier in certain areas. And I get it to a certain extent. I understand, and I think it is unfair. I was on the receiving end of treatment like that when I was about 30 pounds heavier and in my bulking phase, when I was like super hyper fixated on fitness like 2 years ago, and I quickly gained 30 pounds in both muscle and in juicy juice. So I fit my clothes. I could still fit my clothes, but I was pushing it, and certain parts of my body were more accentuated. I'm very pear-shaped. When I do gain weight, it's almost always in the hips and rear. And the comments flipped on me. It went from my outfits are cute to she knows what she's doing. Like, you just want to show off your assets. And I'm just like, sir, this is a pair of jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah. You're like...
And it's interestingly enough, it is often, at least I found in my comment sections, it's often men who will take an outfit that is very normal, that fits a body that's curvy differently, and then insinuate something about the woman's character.
Interesting.
I do find that women, if the outfit is appropriate, will be like level-headed and that, no, she's just curvier.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, and I wonder it's because if it's rooted in men being attracted to the figure, and therefore if they feel attraction, it's inappropriate.
Yeah.
Versus just looking objectively at the outfit. So it's very interesting to think about. It's interesting to think about some of the psychology possibly behind it. And also unpacking that if it was in another country, it could be totally different. If breasts weren't so sexualized where we live, a larger chested or a more flat chested woman wearing something could be seen exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's dicey. I'm always like, well, check with your dress code.
Yeah. 100%.
If the dress code at your school says it's fine, then you're good. And if there's an issue with it, then talk it out with your admin and be like, hey, am I actually out of dress code, or are we just policing my body?
Yeah. And I think it's a valid
Like,
conversation to have, you know, like I did work at a school, granted it was a private school. And I do remember we had somebody on staff that was a little more curvy, you know, and some like a top that I would wear looked maybe very different on her, you know. And it was very interesting to see like the different responses we would get to our outfits or like what was appropriate or not, even though it was technically like on dress code, like, you know, but in terms of just because the different body shapes, like how
yeah.
it was perceived. So yeah, I was glad you did a post like that because I enjoyed reading the comments because I wanted to hear from diverse bodies and be like, what
Yeah.
is your experience in this? And I think it was a very important thing to kind of consider.
Yeah, it made me a little sad though, because a lot of the women were like, couldn't do that. Not at
Yeah.
work. I was like, no.
Yeah.
I do hate though when a woman's chest gets compared to genitalia though, where they're like, oh, if you can see the outline of your chest, then the outline of a banana in a pair of pants. And I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa,
Very
this is not the
different.
same. You cannot compare that. Like no women ever make that comparison, and I'm like, yeah, men,
No.
it's different. That's not a reproductive organ. Like this is it.
No,
No,
no, it's a no, it's a no. Oh
But
my gosh.
the comments are different. Some had me side eyeing my phone, where I was like, okay, but yeah, unfortunately, a lot of women did kind of stamp
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's different,
Hmm.
and some of the most interesting perspectives I did read were from women that had very fluctuating bodies, to where even within the same workplace, their treatment was different when they were heavier versus when they were thinner. And I was just like,
Interesting.
I've
Yeah.
always been treated the same at work. It's only the comments that have shifted for me when
Yeah.
I've gotten thinner and not been, when I switched from lifting to Pilates. This is very different the way it impacts the body.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, it's important to kind of sometimes it's like we don't even think about these things until like somebody says it and you're like, oh yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
like you start to realize like what role have I had in this? Or have I, you know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I think it's an important conversation. So before we started recording, you were mentioning after this you were going to go hit the gym, and I was like, yes, girl.
Yes.
So I would love to know, what are some of your favorite health and wellness habits that you implement and prioritize for your well-being as an educator and somebody who is very busy with like basically like a second job doing content creation?
Yeah. One big one is meal prepping, especially during the school year. I do not have time to be cooking meals. I'm not doing all that
Mm-hmm.
on the weekdays. Heck no. So, for like the last 2 years, I've been myself meal prepping. It's only been this school year that I actually was like, Mama's taking a back seat, and I'm going to do a meal prep program. So
Nice.
I'm doing like Sunday meal prep right now. It's not sponsored or anything. I pay for it myself, but it's like, it's good. And then I don't have to worry about my macros or all of that stuff. And I don't have to weigh my own things. It's very convenient. So
Nice.
the nutrient part of health, I think, is incredibly important, because also as a woman who's going to be 30 soon, I need to be fueling my body appropriately. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I need to get all of my greens, my nutrients. I can't just run off of a prayer and a bag of Cheetos or whatever I used to be able to
It
do.
won't cut it
Like,
anymore.
no, I will not cut it. And having good habits. Like, I've been in the gym since high school. I had my little
Nice.
YMCA membership when I was but a teenager, and been pretty consistent through my life, to where it's just part of a routine I've built up. I have months where I slack. I'm only human.
Yeah.
But the food I find to be the most important, especially for achieving certain aesthetics, but always properly fueling your body. Unless you're doing bodybuilding, like, feed yourself properly
Yeah.
always, please.
Yeah.
And then stretching. Oh my lord. Now that I'm like about to be 30, I have to stretch now. This is new
Yes,
for
you
me.
do.
Yeah, I know. Oh, my knee. Oof. Ew. But
Yes.
stretching, food, and then I don't know, I've started lifting a little less heavy recently, which has been an interesting shift. I kind of get very into certain things.
Yeah.
So Pilates has been super fun. I love the jumping one. I feel like a crazy person
It is
on the jumping
fun.
Pilates machine.
It's
I'm just like,
so
"Whee!"
fun.
like playing 90s rap and I'm like, and then
Yes.
just like jumping and then my hamstring or glute gives out and I'm like, oh,
Yes.
this is hard.
I
But
will say
it's so
though, like I have like, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but like I have like come down on the jump board and my toes were like kind of curled and I was like,
oh,
and it was just for a
oh,
quick, brief second of like,
yeah,
oh, uncomfortable. But I was like, I learned my lesson and I was like, okay, make sure your toes are like perfect before you come
knocking on
crashing
wood.
down. But I was like,
Oh
oh my
Lord.
gosh. But no, I do think a jump board is super, like, it's just like fun. It's kind of like silly and fun.
Yes.
So I definitely feel you on that one. Okay, so one question that I ask all my guests is what advice would you share with your teenage self and teens today?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the one for myself, get the green eye, girl. Get the green eye. I wanted a prosthetic eye that didn't match as a teenager, but I was too worried that I wouldn't like it. And we couldn't afford another eye if I didn't like it. That was it. And so I didn't get a green eye. My journey to acceptance and self-love would have started significantly sooner if I would have just tried it. Just
Yeah.
embrace what makes you different. Do it. That would be for myself. Get the eye. And then
Yeah.
for teenagers in general, just embrace what makes you different. Like, don't hide it. It's doesn't matter if people judge you or not. Typically, the most successful people are judged by a bunch of people around them. The people that care about you will treat you the way you deserve to be treated. And through self-love, there's just nothing more powerful than looking at yourself in the mirror and just loving the beautiful, unique, broken in some ways person that you are. Especially
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And I love the whole like because I know that one was specifically for you, like get the green eye, but I feel like there's so many of us that can relate to like that one thing like we didn't do because we were
Mhm.
shy or we were embarrassed. Like I remember as a kid, I wanted to try out for musicals so bad. Like in another life, I swear I'm on Broadway. And I'm not saying that I'm an
Yeah.
amazing singer or anything. I just like think it would be so fun. And I wish I did
Mhm.
that when I was like a kid and did theater, but I was like shy and I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
want to do it, but I don't want to audition and I'm scared. And what if I don't make it? And that's like something when I think back to like kind of you were saying, I was like, I wish I could have gone to like Little Tiffany and be like,
Mhm.
just do it. Like just go do a little dance, do a little song and just like have fun
Yeah.
and go do the thing. Like
Be
no.
silly, be free. It's okay.
Yeah. No, I think that's so great. It's so funny too, because tell me if it's like this at your school, but especially mine is an all girls school. And we have the students that wear the little star zit stickers. Is that
Yes,
a thing?
I
Okay.
love them. Yep.
And I
Yep.
think that's so cool because I think about like when I was a teen, it was just like, it was like the most embarrassing thing if you had a zit. And now they like cover them up with stars
Accessorize it.
and it's an
Yeah.
accessory. I was like, excuse me? I was like, how cool is that? You know, I was
Yeah.
just like, and it kind of just reminds me of like, I don't know if I would have felt like comfortable enough to do that as a kid, but it kind of goes back to what you were saying, like, just do the thing, like, just do the thing if it seems fun, like, and
Yeah.
interesting, you know? No, I love
Yeah.
that. I think that's great advice. So
Being scared
how,
holds you back.
yeah, no, definitely. So how can we support you and where can we direct people?
I am on TikTok and on Instagram. TikTok is Hey Miss Teacher. Instagram is Hey_Miss Teacher. I have a YouTube page too, but I just repost the stuff. One day I might post long form content. Who knows? And then you could support me by supporting other smaller teacher creators to get their wish list items because I'm pretty good. Brands are generous. When I work with brands, they'll send extra stuff for my students. Shout out Pilot Pen. Got me tons of
Oh
erasable
my
pens for my babies, and
gosh.
the kids love an erasable pen. They don't
They
want to do their
love
work. I
it.
offer them like a purple erasable pen, and they're like, okay.
I
Like
love
so,
that.
like I'm good. I'm blessed. And the way you can support me is by supporting other teachers
I
that
love that.
need it. Everyone knows a teacher friend. Help them out. Get them a coffee.
Right?
Like, get them some supplies. Toss some erasable pens their way.
Yeah.
I'm good.
No,
But
I think that's such a beautiful and kind thing to be like, yeah, like everyone knows at least one teacher and just yeah, like ask them
Mhm.
like, "Hey, is there anything on your wish list that you want or that I can donate to?" Like I think that's such a beautiful thing. And where there are so many teachers trying to make a difference in the world, you are an amazing teacher and your students are so lucky to have you. You are so cool. I would have thought you were the coolest teacher if I had you.
You would have been annoyed. You would have been annoyed by me too, though. I am kind and I am strict, and I will bug students that are not doing their stuff properly with kindness and love.
I love it.
The kids love me, but they're also like, Miss, you're doing too much. And I'm like, and you're not doing enough. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm here for it. I feel like that is me during my classes when, like today we were doing yoga. And at one point I look over and there's like a whole row not doing anything. And I'm like, can we not? Like, can we do the thing? Like, let's go. Like,
Yoga in school. I'm jealous.
Yeah, I know. I was like, you guys, people pay for this. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
No, I love it though. But thank you so much, Sunshine, for joining us on this episode. And I am so grateful for you and all you do in education and with your platform. You truly are a beautiful soul. And I appreciate you so much.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. I was happy to chat. I'm such a yapaholic, so I have to be like, minus screen time, minus screen time. In the classroom too, I'm just like, oh my gosh, how long have I been talking? Turn to talk, everybody.
No, I totally love that. And thanks to everyone else for listening to the Pretty Little Lifters podcast. And I'm going to share Sunshine's info in the show notes so you can support her. And I will talk to you next episode. Bye.